Hey there guys, we're taking a look at Forza Horizon 5 running on the AMD Ryzen 5 5600H. Now this is running on the Beelink SER5 mini PC, and you're currently looking at the built-in benchmark running right now with the lowest in-game graphics settings, which is the very low preset. But we are running at the full 1080p resolution. We are not using any upscaling or anything like that. And in general, the level of performance that we're getting out of this is actually really decent. So you realistically would not need to use any upscaler or anything like that while you're playing the actual game. And really, this is impressive levels of performance coming out of a mini PC without a graphics card, considering that we don't need to use anything else to adjust the resolution to get a playable experience. That said though, we can use FSR 2.2 or the Fidelity FX CAS upscaling that the game has built in. Keep in mind though that not all the settings in this are actually going to be to your benefit on this specific system. Really, it takes going all the way down to the performance preset with the FSR 2.2 to actually notice a performance increase. Everything above this is actually a performance regression in terms of the averages and 1% lows. So we do have to drop down the resolution pretty noticeably, and the image quality, while not absolutely terrible, is noticeably worse than the full 1080p resolution. And really, with the performance preset, the game that we have isn't even that meaningful. So you are sacrificing some visual quality to not get too much of an improvement. And really, it's going to be up to you on whether or not it's going to be worthwhile, but I would suspect the vast majority of you are not really going to think that it's worthwhile, because I personally don't think it's worthwhile. Really, it's not up until we get to the ultra performance preset that we actually start to see a meaningful gain, but we are now sacrificing a crap ton of the resolution here. And the gains themselves aren't exactly amazing, so it really is up to you on whether or not this is going to be worthwhile. Personally, I found the game to be perfectly playable at the full 1080p resolution, to the point where this is really unnecessary, and I think it impacts the overall experience of the game over just running it at the full native 1080p. But I can understand if you're somebody that is just completely obsessed with maximizing the FPS that you can get out of your game, but there are other options that are more favorable to this APU, because FSR 2.0 and all its variants really seem to be a lot heavier on the GPU, and they require you to really sacrifice a lot of visual quality just to get a boost in performance. And a title like this, it doesn't really seem to be that worthwhile. That being said, the game actually does support Fidelity FX CAS upscaling. Now this is the precursor to FSR. It is a much more basic version of upscaling, where all you're doing is essentially rendering the resolution at a lower level and using a sharpening filter to boost the image quality. Now you're looking at it running right now with the balance preset, and in general the gain here is a lot more meaningful in comparison to the full 1080p resolution. Now visually speaking, it can look pretty rough, but it actually doesn't look as fuzzy as FSR does. And if you just throw on something like FXAA, if you're someone that actually does not mind how that ends up looking, you can get a very comparable image to FSR here. It'll be more of an equivalent image to something like FSR 1.0. And in general, at least the gain here is pretty noticeable, where our level of performance is now more than comfortably above a 60 FPS average, and our 1% lows are looking really rock solid here. But it really just depends on you whether or not this sacrifice in visual quality is worthwhile. Again, personally, I would just play the game at the full 1080p resolution, but you do have options here. I would say that FSR is just completely out of the question, because you have to sacrifice way too much to get any kind of usable image out of it. But anyways, I hope you found this quick look at Forza Horizon 5 running on the AMD Ryzen 5 5600H to be useful, entertaining, or interesting. If you did, be sure to subscribe, and of course check out the Amazon affiliate links down below.